Hey, you guys, check out my big old pile of fake hair on my head. I've decided it doesn't not match the hair I have on the top of my head. So I'm going to use my fake hair sometimes when I don't feel like doing my hair. This has been one hell of a week. Let me introduce myself, and I've got to talk about this week, and racism, and a whole bunch of very unpleasant facts. Prairie, that troll has really opened some cans of ridiculousness, but I'm not going to be talking about that troll because I could care less about the troll. The troll will do what the troll will do, which is milk any situation as much as she can. Okay, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. I used to work for Pathos, writing for Pathos for nearly 10 years, a column called No Longer Quivering that had to do with religion. Today, we're not talking about religion. Do all the YouTube things, hit like, subscribe, click the bell notifications if it moves you to do so, and don't harass anybody. I'm going to talk about no bullying. This is the no bullying zone. This is the bless your heart zone. Bless your heart. Okay, I've been watching for days this whole thing going down with Marvon McRae. Various and sundry commentators talking about it. This isn't even part of the national psyche right now. Nobody's talking about it on any of the news channels. This is just one of those things that has gone through the gossip channels, the whole thing with Marvon McRae. If you don't know the story, Marvon McRae is a former Marine that tried to kill himself. His wife rescued him, supposedly. I don't know, but that's the story I'm getting. And he's been in the hospital. He suffered some kind of traumatic brain injury as a result. Well, no kidding. If you try to hang yourself and you cut off oxygen to your brain, there will be some damage. But it's not as bad as what we were told initially. One of the people kept saying, one of the reporters, not reporters, one of the gossip bloggers kept saying that he was brain dead, brain dead, brain dead. That was when I started looking at it a little bit, because while my father did not try to kill himself, he did have a stroke that rendered him brain dead within hours. And I know a little something about that, tiny bit, because I had to go up to the hospital, sign the paperwork, sit there and hold his hand after they turned off the machinery. It was a pretty gnarly decision for anybody to have to make. And I had a ton of family members that opposed me and said, yeah, you're right, Prairie. She does seem kind of brain dead. So I had a bunch of family members that opposed me. So brain dead and what the decision whether to take somebody off or not is pretty serious. And his wife apparently moved him from one hospital to the other, from my understanding. So are you with me so far? So it turns out he's not brain dead. His family doesn't get along with his wife, Dre. So there was some concern that they would not be able to get to see their son before he passed. Well, his mother's now seen him. I believe his father saw him too, or at least made an attempt. And the mother said that he responded to her voice. And I think it was he tried to say a few words or he squeezed his hand. So there's been a lot of stuff that's been really, really, really mishandled, this whole thing. And that's one thing. We all know that that's what that troll does in others. I'm not saying that Molly Golightly said anything wrong, because I didn't look at her coverage enough to be able to say, or that Justin for Justice for All said anything wrong. I didn't look at their coverage except for just a very few minutes, and it seemed pretty respectful. Marvin Sr. saw him first. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I know the parents had seen him. So here's the thing that struck me about this. Okay. Sharrell is now trotted in and is claiming that only African Americans can actually cover this case because Marvon is African American. That's some of the most flawed logic I've heard yet from anybody in any kind of thing. And it seems to me that every time we have one of these very tragic things happen, whether it ends up gossip bloggers talking about it or makes the national media, everybody starts talking about race. And it really didn't have a lot to do with race. In fact, it's funny, right before I came on here to do this, I was having breakfast, taking my pills, my morning old lady shit, and I was just kind of cruising YouTube, playing things while I was running around here doing my stuff. And one of the things that I saw was a clip of the new Beavis and Butthead movie. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. And I laughed so hard because one of the guys said, white privilege coming through, pushed his way through the lunch line. I'm just kind of laughing because we have gotten, hey, Melanie, we've gotten really crazy with race in this country. Well, in the U.S., I should say, because I'm not in the U.S. I'm back in Costa Rica. It's gotten where it's just taken a crazy toll on everything. I think whoever wants to talk about the situation to get Marvon help is one thing. I thought we're working towards being colorblind. Tracy, so did I. When Barack Obama was elected, and that was one of the things I said, I'm glad because if for nothing else, the African Americans in America will feel, whoops. Okay, so I knocked over my ring light and I grabbed my Diet Coke because it was getting ready to spill. Go me. I thought that we were working towards being a colorless society. And I was thinking that the election of Obama would be a good thing because it would show African Americans that they truly are part of the great national experience, one human to another, like you're saying, Carolyn. I thought it would diffuse a lot of racism. Unfortunately, all it did was reveal that on the white side, there were a lot of really racist people. From South Louisiana, I didn't even know my family was that racist. Bless my heart, I had so many relatives say, I'm not racist, but let me tell you something. If somebody says, I'm not a racist, but you can ignore the I'm not a racist thing. Bossy, you did that? We all do, especially to our own race. Sharrell has changed since I started watching her way back. Dinner's ready. I've not watched her a lot. I tried to contact her 2 years ago when all the nonsense was going on, and that troll was saying nasty things about Sharrell and saying stuff like she didn't know why Sharrell was attacking her and just all this ridiculous nonsense. So now Sharrell has teamed up with her, which puzzles me to the extreme, except that there must be some kind of former aggro between Molly Golightly and Sharrell that I'm not aware of. Perry is very racist against white people. And, I'm sitting here in kind of a odd situation because I'm not really white and I'm not really black. I'm not Hispanic. I'm part Native American. I'm part Jewish. I'm a whole lot of Cajun, which makes me kind of brownish, almost light brownish. Oh, they're not a team. They are absolutely not a team. And Carolyn, that's what's happened to me. I started out not liking her, thinking the worst of her because she's shown up at various people's workplaces and homes and acted a fool, but I kind of like her. Okay, I haven't watched Perry's channel, but I've noticed some of the things that Perry has said that are racist and against white people. the kind of the way I've looked at it for years now, and this is after being raised in South Louisiana, which has a huge population of African Americans. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't outstrip white people now, and that's not a bad thing. And this is living through my mother saying, okay, fan, do your thing. My mother saying, well, bless my soul. That awful Snoop Dogg is trying to move to our neighborhood. Mom, why would you care? Don't let Molly go lightly fool you. She's an actress after all. Is she entertaining because she's outrageous? Yes. Doesn't mean I like her, though. Well, Bliss, there's that, too. I'm not totally trusting anybody in this deal. So I totally forgot where I am. Typical Lyrica brain. So I've been dealing with this for years, but I thought we were past it until Obama was elected and all this came out. And then you got Perry on the other side saying, oh, it's blah, 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 blah. And I'm just watching this and I'm kind of like, Sharrell sued Amber and AT2, and now they're all best friends. Yeah. Sharrell admitted she has trolls. Do the math. Yep. I told somebody this in a live the other day. I don't think this one, but when started the campaign against KJ, that's when I started to go from can't really stand KJ to outright. Now I'm done. Yeah. Same here. A lot of loyalists from LA moved back to New Brunswick. I get my glasses from Zenni Optical, and this was the only pair I paid any kind of money for because they're considered trendy. So they were like $10 more expensive, but I get all my glasses there, all of them, because my prescription changes so frequently. There's no way I'm paying $900 a pair. There's a campaign against KJ. Honestly, the campaign's kind of freaked me out a bit. Some people go overboard. Bermuda, you're absolutely right. She does need to be called out when she's doing some of this crap. But there are people that are calling her out that are doing the exact same crap. She and Spanny later. So they're doing the exact same thing. I could really name names about who is doing it, but I've tried to not do that in the anti-KJ community. I will say there are a lot of people that I blocked recently on Twitter because I just can't take their drama. Cheap glass, that's the only place I buy them now, because before I was buying them at a place near my house. It was $900 a pair because my prescription is extreme. And I can't afford that. I don't know about you, but that's crazy. And I thought I would have a new car by today. I don't. The money didn't get transferred in our bank as quickly as we thought. So it looks like Tuesday or Wednesday at the earliest. We're trying to buy a new car because our car died. And it's motorcycle, jalopy, or Parada taxi right now. So going back to this whole thing, I don't like racism. I don't care who it comes from. You know, if you cut all of us, I don't care what our skin color is, we're all going to bleed red unless you're a Vulcan and you're going to bleed green. And I don't know anybody like that here on this planet. So I'm just kind of disgusted and done with everybody saying this about how this one can't cover this and this one can't cover this. I'm so glad I got I know there's some medical care that covers it. We have kind of a gold standard of insurance policies, and it doesn't cover it. It does really cruddy for this and this, for dental care and glasses. So we're way out of pocket for that crap. Every day, Keisha's saying, people keep telling me how great I am, how wonderful I am, I'm smart, etc. Like she's just going on about how amazing she is and how Sharrell's wrong and she's so wonderful. Sharrell may be wrong, but that is, you're right on the money, Bossy, about her. When I worked with her, I had to deal with that a lot because she was constantly turning to me going, why isn't Dale McGowan complimenting me? He's complimenting so-and-so. He's complimenting the friendly atheist. He's complimenting Andrew Hall. He's complimenting all these guys. All these speedies. possessors, but not me. I'm so wonderful. And she would not participate in any of the Pathos back channel stuff at all. She wouldn't talk to anybody. It was the weirdest thing. Bermuda's triangulation, you're right. If KJ bothers you, don't watch. Isn't society polarized enough? That is that's the problem. Dennis Brady, exactly. And with the racism. Now, I admit when the whole Gabby Petito when the whole Gabby Petito thing went down, I didn't talk about it at all on this channel for a couple of reasons. Number one, she was this blonde, bubbly, cute little white girl that was going camping with the boyfriend. And for me, I couldn't talk about it because she reminded me so much of my youngest child, who today is her birthday. Happy birthday, darling. Youngest child who at that time, who's 31 today, at that time when she was like 19, 20, I could see that happening to her. She was with a guy she was semi-engaged to, like Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. And they loved to camp, and they talked about doing that very thing. And I was going, please, Lord, please, Lord, please, Lord, don't let that happen. They're both way too immature to be out together. And so I couldn't hardly watch coverage. I couldn't hardly think about it because it had echoes for me and to something I really stressed over. And every time I saw pictures, Lord of mercy, when I saw the coverage of her in Utah with the cops, all I could think about was my daughter, because she reminded me so much of her. So much. Backwoods Barbie? Backwoods Barbie and him called somebody a racist? I'm jaw dropped. Backwoods Barbie. Okay. You blew my mind. Where was I? So I was talking about why I didn't cover the case. And I saw and heard at the time a lot of my friends who are African Americans or whatever, and Native Americans. I have a huge Native American bunch of friends because of finding out how much blood I had. So they were all upset because there's Native American women have gone missing, young women like this, throughout the U.S., and it's been largely ignored by the press. And that's a sad thing. If you're poor and white, if you are not cute, if you're Hispanic, if you're Native American, if you're Black, it gets ignored. And I agree. That's the kind of racism in the media that just needs to go the hell away. It just needs the hell away. Yeah. And a lot of us have mixed families right now. Chief Bless, a lot of us have various and sundry things in the family. You know, here I am with my crazy mixture of bloods. My husband is pure white, like he's Aryan. He's 100% German, 100%, 100%. My babies came out with blonde hair and blue eyes. And you can see I'm so not blonde hair and blue eyed. So this racism thing, it needs to end. We need to start just calling it out and saying that it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to say these things either way. I mean, what are we, Beavis and Butthead, going, white privilege coming through, coming through, coming through? No. We need to just throw this down. And the other thing I wanted to talk about with this, and this is something that I think, oh, cheap glass, that is so sad. Close to my area, there's a highway that a very few indigenous women get found. That it's sad. Yes. Mary Jo, many of us are Heinz 57s in this world. Many of us, because our families are just all over the place. No national attention. Yes, no national attention of Native women missing. None. And I don't know Amber well enough to be able to comment on her. But here's the second thing I wanted to say about about this whole thing. And this speaks to the Gabby Petito thing and every other case where people are missing or tragedy has happened. I think the thing that a lot of these people that are talking about this crap have really forgotten is there are families involved. There are real families involved. I mean, just on Marvon McRae's family side, you've got Letitia, you've got Marvon Sr., you've got Juanette, you've got Dre, you've got their children. And the more chattering and gossip and falsehoods that are floated out about about everything, including the family, the more painful it is for the family. Let us not forget, there are real people behind these things. I cannot imagine what Gabby Petito's parents went through. Or even, I'm just going to throw this out there, even Brian Laundrie's parents. I mean, I don't believe that he told them much of anything. So many of us, hey, yeah, Nancy, go, run to the store. So many of us have, I lost my train of thought. I'm so goofy. So many of us have kids that could have happened to, and our kids could have said, hey, Mom, I'm going camping. Said, where's Gabby? Oh, Gabby stayed behind. And you love your children so much that you believe them. You believe them even in the face of overwhelming evidence. You know, I would like to think that I would tell my son, no, something's wrong here. We need to cooperate with the police. But until that actually happens, you don't know that. You don't know that that's what's happened. This is that was a tragedy for both families. And exactly how much the parents and the family knew, I don't think the daughter spoke up. They knew very little. He wasn't honest with them at all. Hey, Tolau, low reading. Good morning from Oregon, from Costa Rica to Oregon. Hubby is Hungarian. Granddaughter's donor is indigenous. And I'm a Heinz 67, so I love humans. Yeah, exactly. Cheap glass. I believe that very strongly. We've got all kinds of folks in our family now. I'm married to a white guy. This straightest white guy on the planet. That's what's so funny. My friends all said, you're so wild and adventurous and artistic, yet you married the most white guy on the planet. The heart wants what the heart wants. I am white, have Hispanic niece. I have 2 nephews, my Irish twins nephews, half black and half Hispanic. And they're Irish twins. Yeah, that's pretty wild. So many times, you know, you have families where the babies are born so close together. So let us not forget there are real families involved in this. Just watching some of the coverage of how it was handled with the McRaes and with the Petitos and some of the other families, it's just wrong. These people are grieving. They're brokenhearted in their own ways, even if it's a situation like Marvon's where there's no death. There are so many conflicting medical reports, and they're just trying to get to their family member to say goodbye if it's the end, or just to be there to say, hey, I support you as they're healing. So that's my rant this morning about that. So is there anything else anybody wants to talk about? Like glasses. I've seen a video where some who weren't sure they had a certain heritage, but when they did the DNA testing, they realized they're wrong. Tracy, I've seen that too. I found out from DNA testing what my percentages were, and I had way more Irish, English, Welsh blood than I ever dreamed, or Scottish too, that I ever dreamed. I thought I was primarily Cajun because I come from families with names like Landry, LeBlanc, from South Louisiana. I'm loving that people are getting it too. Your sister-in-law and her Irish twins. It's a common saying. The issue of the death penalty as a consequence for murder sees secondary victims being exploited by both sides of the debate. Prairie, I'm not a fan of the death penalty for a lot of reasons. And the issues of the families, they're another thing. As tragic as some of those things are, I'm not sure that anything is accomplished by killing somebody else. It's a lot harder to live in jail for the rest of your life than it is to get to be taken out after 5 to 10 years. I often find myself really uncomfortable with the entertainment aspect of these cases being covered. It just feels icky given what the families are going through. Gives Melissa's a bad name. I feel the same way. That's why I think that it needs to be treated a whole lot differently than what everybody is. Treat others like you would want to be treated if you were in our shoes. That's exactly what it is. And the thing is that some of the things we're talking about here, they're hard issues. I'm not going to lie. It's hard to know what to do and what to say when somebody is just trying to get information on their child who is in the hospital. And let's be clear about that. I don't care how old your child is. Your child is your child is your child is your child. Oh, so we're all gonna we all just need to remember that people are people at the end of the day. They're not labels, they're not colors, they're not classes. They're just people. And I wish the news media was a whole lot different in how they handled this. I think the way that they have started to handle things just respectfully has really rubbed off on the low life bloggers that are covering this. And I'm not saying everybody covering it is a low life blogger. You know who I mean. It's pretty simple. It just is. So, you guys, I have to go. I have to help my husband count t-shirts for his church thing he does. And we have to talk more about this car situation. Right now, we're leaning towards getting a very small little Nissan SUV that we saw. No, we did not. Melly, this is the first I've heard of that. And it's outrageous. KJ demanded a refund from Letitia Bias and Letitia giving it back. That is hateful. You know, I just want to say about giving money for anybody and any kind of thing. I have a philosophy about that, and I always follow it. And it's very opposite that. When you give money to somebody for whatever reason, don't expect to ever get anything back, no benefit. I've been a much happier person since I've been able to do that. Obviously, she thought she was buying access by giving money to Letitia. I saw that she posted Vaughn's stepdad and dad's criminal histories. That's just wrong. We know that that troll loves to retaliate with anybody says anything that she doesn't like. Give a gift and it's out of your hands. Dinner's ready. Yeah. Even when people ask to borrow money and I give them money, I don't expect to get it back. I'll assume it's a gift. And if I get it back, great. If I don't get it back, great. I'm not going to obsess over it because life is really too short to be worried about those things. And you know, at the end of the day, I know I'm going to piss somebody off with this one. At the end of the day, money is just money. You can't take it with you. You can't. I think it's his stepdad or dad. Not sure which one. I don't want to start rumored. Bossy, I saw the father's criminal history. The father has a pile of criminal history. What does that have to do with his son being in the hospital and him wanting to see his son? It has not a damn thing to do with it. It was a retaliatory action to get at Wynette and to get at Letitia. That was it. I mean, we know this is how that troll operates. This is what she does. Heard Molly Golightly were speaking. Molly Golightly turned on her or said something she didn't like. I don't remember which one it was first. And the next thing you know, she's pulling up Molly Golightly's criminal history, all of which Molly has been open about. So it was not quite the bomb that Christoph and yeah, she will. Nobody gets away free. Something happens to everybody. And she has all these lawsuits ongoing. I'm sure all of this is noted and that is going to get drugged through court. So she's just giving. She's giving Todd Chrisley and she is giving 7M all the ammunition they need to burn her to the ground. Not to mention, you believe in God. Yeah, it is doxing. If you believe in God, the thing she's doing will certainly get you in the hot place, if that's what you believe. All I can say is she better start decorating that handbasket to hell, because she's weaving it hard right now with everything. Yeah. There's nothing else to say today as far as I'm concerned. Don't be like that. Try to treat people kindly. Try to give them the benefit of the doubt if you can. Sometimes that's not going to be possible. You're going to have to say, hey, what you're doing is wrong. It's just plain old vanilla wrong. And there are other times where you're going to have to whip out your fan and go, bless your heart, and just move on. Move on. I'm not even going to bother to use this today, because we all know what's going to happen when court happens. It is decidedly so. There you have it. Love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and go. Like I said, I got t-shirts to count. I've got a conversation to have about the car and all the different options. And I've got mountains of laundry to climb today. Love you guys.